time that he lived, and there's actually still something in this one. And that's a backup too, in case all else fails. It's like, okay, we put it back up. And it's just do this like that. You don't do this, but that. They'll both blow out. Blow it out. And if you remember, it's great to shut this one down, but if you don't remember, don't stress. So, and what I'm going to do is babble a little bit about first principle and November 4th, and then I'm going to say for our chalice life. So, yeah. So, when you hear the words for our chalice life, that's
347. Turn to page 347 and sing along.
Good morning, everyone. And what a beautiful autumnal morning it is. The sun is glowing just behind the clouds, a heavily balance between illuminating light and nurturing shade. I have heard so many people in the past week express gratitude for how the turning earth has brought autumn to us with cool winds, sun-shielding clouds, and evening rains. In my practice, we consider autumn the season of water. It is a quick-flowing time of change, easy weather that better permits the hard work of the harvest. Very few of us actually farm for a living these days, but every day in this beautiful building, we reap the harvest of the hard work we have all put in to being a people and a place of love, support, compassion, and interdependence. All of that to say, at UUCS, we strive to be a beloved community of warmth, love, and support across our differences. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome just as we are. If you are a visitor with us this morning, we'd love to hear from you. Visitor cards may be found in the pocket of the back of the chair right in front of you. Please feel free to fill one out and place it in the offering plate as it comes around so that we can connect with you. There is always a lot going on in this congregation. You will find a Connect for the month of October in the lobby and a one-page weekly calendar in your order of service. First off, a harvest, while a time of joy, also implies a lot of work. As part of a community-wide effort to provide shelter for unhoused families with children, UUCS will host up to 4 families here at the church from October 5th to 19th. Oh, well, fancy that. October 5th is today. And again in late December. That is right. We will be welcoming families from our congregation to shelter here today, and we need your help. There are many ways to get involved, such as providing grab-and-go breakfasts, a group coming together to provide a meal, spending times with families and youth through activities, or simply listening and offering support. This opportunity is open to everyone. If you are interested in supporting this effort, sign up using the Sign Up Genius spreadsheet sent out in a variety of ways over the past couple of weeks, or contact Colin Bauer at colinwbauer@yahoo.com. Everyone who volunteers will need a background check and to complete a volunteer orientation and child protection training. Thank you so much to everyone who has already signed up. Many, many things are happening this month. A presentation of the newly released 2025 LGBTQ Needs Assessment, the Upstate Pride March and Festival, Boo at the UU, our Samhain celebration, the November 1st due date for donations to our November auction, and much more. Please read your Connect and happenings to be a part of the full rainbow of activities happening in this wonderful congregation. But without further ado, I would like to invite Ruth Stanton, who leads our Voting Justice team for our Social Justice Council, and Alice Sutton, who chairs our Social Justice Council, to share with us the ways we can all work together to uphold our democracy and democratic values.
Good morning, all. I'm Alice Sutton, Chair of the Social Justice Council. The Unitarian Universalist Association, our parent organization, has just become a partner of the No Kings nationwide mobilization for our democracy. In June, over 5 million people attended over 2,100 rallies and protests all over the U.S. and worldwide. We expect to exceed those numbers on October 18th, and you can be part of that. You have options. You can join a big rally in Columbia or Charlotte, or you can join our Spartanburg rally. We're handing out cards with basic info at the sanctuary doors when you leave. And at this Wednesday's Humanist meeting, our topic is, who is going to save our democracy? Please come, learn, and share your ideas this Wednesday, 7 o'clock in the sanctuary. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Ruth Stanton, and as well as talking about some voting justice things, today I am your worship associate. So welcome to everybody here, both in the sanctuary and those of you that are joining us online. The first UU principle is about the inherent worth and dignity of every person. In fact, when I was looking over the principles, pretty much all of them relate to the worth and dignity of each person and also our world, but in different aspects. I'm going to jump over to the 5th principle for just a minute. The right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. Our social justice team has placed voting justice as one of our major areas of service. And I have to boast on the team a little bit this fall, under the guidance of Andy Myers. Andy, are you here? I don't see her today. Our church postcarders have written 800 postcards to Virginia voters in just 1 month. So I wanted to say a big thank you to Andy and all of those of you who have a touch of writer's cramp from spinning out postcards. I think we've done a great job. A public service announcement. We have big elections this November 5th. They are local elections, a little different from presidential and congressional national stuff. They're school boards, mayors of cities and townships in our county and the counties around us, and city councils, school boards, just a lot of things where we can make a difference. Today is October 5th, and that's a lot of things besides having our families join us today. It's the last day that you can register to vote in South Carolina or fix your address if you've moved this year. You can do that online, and it's going to be a little bit easier for you because, ta-da! And in addition to information on the No Kings, Alice has Vote 411 cards. The front is the jazzy little Vote 411 symbol, and the back has a QR code that you can use to update your information online. And also you can see who's on your ballot when you're trying to figure out which of those school board members you want to try to vote for ahead of time. So grab you one of those after the service. We are all working on supporting democracy in different ways. It's including protesting, writing postcards, and especially voting. Thank you for being involved in the democratic process and upholding our principles. For our chalice lighting, Sarah Hamilton's going to assist us. This chalice lighting echoes our principles and speaks to my heart. We have a summary of the thinking of Voltaire by Evelyn Beatrice Hall in her biography of the French Enlightenment philosopher. I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it.
If you will, turn to page number 291, Die Gedanken sind frei, which means our thoughts are free. And Erin's going to play it through once to get us accustomed to the melody.
Thanks, Joyce. It makes it easier to sing with you. Our congregation has the tradition of the Rippling Bowl. In a minute, we'll have an opportunity to come forward and place a shell or a stone in the Rippling Bowl to represent our milestones and joys, our sorrows and concerns. The ripples and the energy we create with the stones and shells reflect the connections that we have with one another. Concerns shared are lessened
and joys are multiplied. I'm going to place a stone and a shell in the bowl for those participating virtually, and also to hold a space for the joys and concerns of our community as a whole. And you may now come forward.
Far beyond the grasp of hands, or light to meet the eye, past the reaches of the mind. There find the key to nature's harmony in an architecture so entwined. Like the birds whose patterns grace the sky and carry all who join in love expanding, the message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings. In the oneness of everything, peace is in the dance of dreams that stir before the first breath of wind is yet perceived. Trust in the song becoming one with the dance, and all mysteries can be believed. Songs of lives long past that touch are written in the earth, ever giving. And now to maintain the harmony gives to us all lives worth living. For the oneness of everything. Still we seek to find a truth that we might understand and reduce to terms defined. Vast and immeasurable time and space, also overwhelmingly designed. Oh, passing years just might I know the faith that winters in the heart to be reborn in spring, to hear and to feel the pulse of life enters my soul as a song to sing of the oneness of everything.
We are glad to be together on Sunday mornings, and we get to share our gladness with each other during the time of greeting that's right now. As you greet one another, please remember to take clues from each other as to the type of greeting to honor each other's personal space. Some folks are handshakers or elbow bumpers or huggers, and some folks are more reserved. That's okay. It's also fine to stay in your seat if you prefer. After a few minutes, Erin is going to play some music to remind us to return to our seats. And we've got Virginia McLean's Time for All Ages to look forward to, so get back to your seats quickly. If you're joining us online, perhaps use this time to text or reach out to a friend. And let our greetings begin.
Come on, people friends, I'm waiting on you. If there are any children who would like to join me up front, I would love to have them. Ooh. Tuck and roll. Hi, friends. How are we? Good. Does anyone remember last month we started talking about our service and being part of the service? Anyone remember what we compared it to? A party, that's right. So this room, it's just a room, right? And sometimes we can have a party in here, like the youth did. And sometimes, what do? We have a fancy dinner party. And our service is like a fancy dinner party. And what do you do at a fancy dinner party? Be fancy, that's right. So we use our best manners, right? Our best manners. Because I'm fancy. All right, so this month I want to talk about our rippling bowl. What is this? What do we do with this? We put stones in it. Anything else? Do you know why we put the stones in it? You make a wish. You could make a wish. Anything else? Huh? Good intentions, yes. Share our joys, that's right. What do I have on my back right now? A backpack, and this backpack is very heavy. Anybody want to feel how heavy it is? Come on up. You want to try? Oh. So if I am the only one carrying this backpack, it would be pretty heavy, right? But if I share what is in my backpack, so I have some things in here. Can I share them with you? Okay, the first thing is I have a couple of rocks. And these could represent what? They could represent wishes, but rocks are heavy. They weigh us down. Represent weight. Things that weigh us down, both physically or representing sadness. That's right. So I have some rocks. Will you hold that rock? Will you hold that rock? And there's a rock. And there's a rock. Will y'all hold these rocks with me? You want a rock? Oh, man. That lightened up my load pretty well. I'll need it back. I'll need it back. But you can hold it for now. Will you hold it for me for now? We'll get you a pet rock. Don't worry. So now that you are helping me to hold some of the weight that was in there, this isn't so heavy anymore. You know what else is in here that I might need you to help me hold? M&Ms! What could these M&Ms represent? Weight, that's right. What kind of weight though? Colorful weight. What kind of other colorful weight? Maybe our joys? Yeah. So when we are putting things in our rippling bowl, you want to not just put things in there, but you want to share your weight with your friends, with your family, right? and it makes it less heavy just for you to carry. Can I share a few joys with you now? All right, come on up, share a few joys with me. So, I want you to remember when we're here at our table having our fancy party during service, and we have our rippling bowl helps to remind us to share our joys, our M&Ms, and our concerns, that heavy weight that we carry, with others. And it makes it so much more less, and you get colorful hands. It makes it less hard for us to carry that alone, right? When we have other people who help to carry the weight, whether it is happy weight or sad weight, right? And sometimes the weight ends up in your tummies, that's right. So thank you for coming up and sharing my weight, my joys, and my concerns today. Can I have my rocks back? Thank you.
Well, you can see why I was in a hurry to get to Virginia's story and skipped over the covenant, but we're going to do the covenant now. Our denomination doesn't have a creed that we have to believe in order to participate here, but we don't come together just as a bunch of rattling around people. A number of years ago, our congregation created a covenant to express how we aspire to join together to make our world a better place. The words of the covenant can be found in the order of service or under the live stream. We repeat them every week, but not because we've perfectly achieved these goals, but to encourage ourselves to continue to move forward. Please join me in saying these words together. With courage we say, we are a people of faith and hope. Together we covenant to strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of a love beyond belief. The mission of our church is supported by the treasure, time, and talents of the members and friends of this congregation. We offer many ways to share your financial contributions, and that includes passing our offering plate on Sunday mornings. Even if you've already contributed your treasure in another way, we do invite you to add your blessing to the plate as it goes by. Now, each month, our congregation supports a different cause or organization that is doing work that reflects our values. It might be local, might be national, or even international. For our Share the Plate program, we give half of any loose cash in the offering to that cause in all designated funds. In October, we're supporting our UUCS Pride Festival booth and the Uplift Outreach Center. The Pride Festival is going to be on Saturday, October 25th from 5 to 10. So that's a difference from before. It's always been in the daytime. So look forward to this evening hours where we can all sparkle with Sparkle City. And we are proud to be supporting the event again. And then Uplift Outreach Center provides a vital support to our Spartanburg LGBTQ+ youth. It provides a safe place for the youth to meet and be accepted just as they are. And Uplift Outreach Center also partners with local organizations to provide LGBTQ plus specific resources to our community. This kind of support is really vital for the mental and physical health of the young people that they serve. And our offering will now be gratefully received.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Somebody said to me, since I found this place, I actually enjoy going to church on Sunday morning. And it makes me tearful for what we have created here. Thank you so much for all that you all give. You heard Rachel mention in our announcements that on October 17th, there'll be a presentation here in the sanctuary on the 2025 LGBTQ needs assessment, which is a report that's been released this year. I'm going to leave a copy of it up here at the front of the sanctuary. And if you're interested, I encourage you to come and look at this and take it with you. We're publishing digital copies of this in all of our publications this month as a lead up to this presentation. So you can get it digitally, and if you can't access it please just let us know. We'll be glad to send it to you. But if you would like a hard copy and we run out of the one copy that I have up here today, then we will certainly print one for you. This needs assessment is commissioned by the LGBT Fund, which is held amazingly at the Spartanburg County Foundation, and praise to them for being active partners in supporting that fund and promoting its work. And the Freeman Foundation, which is a foundation that works to promote all kinds of services and advocacy in support of LGBTQ plus people and issues all around the country. This presentation will happen on Friday, October 17th from 10 to 12. And from 9 to 10, there'll be an affinity space for LGBTQ plus folks prior to the overall presentation. No, it's a Friday, and a lot of us will be at work or have other things we have to do. But I want you to know about it because if you're free, please come. This gathering is one of many presentations being made to share the findings of the report. The report basically says, since the last needs assessment in 2018, some things have improved, and we have very far to go. And here are things that would get us there. They're very strong, concrete recommendations about how to move things forward. And these presentations have been made to our business community, civic leaders, political leaders, all kinds of different groups. This gathering here on the 17th is for people of faith. We have been building a network of people of faith, all different denominations and religions, in support of the LGBT plus community. And this is an invitation to those folks to come and hear the updated report. When we did this in 2018, it launched all kinds of initiatives that are still ongoing today. In fact, the presentation that day is going to be led by 2 ministry interns in a program called LGBTQ Theologies that came out of that first needs assessment. Faith Taylor and Davlin Hill are going to lead that with support of our own Ann Garner, and I'll be there as well. But I want to invite you to come because I think you would find the information interesting. And because even if you can't be there, if you know somebody who might value coming, I hope that you'll tell them about it. And also because there are going to be people in that room who will benefit from experiencing other people also being in the room and feeling that energy and support. Now, I can promise you, not everybody in the room is all going to think the same way, and they're certainly not all going to use shared language. And if for any reason you don't need to be in the room because of that, then that's okay too, right? But the folks that gather will be there out of interest and goodwill. And what we're trying to do is not all have exactly the same idea, but build a community that is welcoming and affirming of every one of us. Because our goal is not one idea, it's a shared world. And if coming on that Friday is of benefit to you or service that you can render to help build a better world, then come. Join me in silence. Basic human dignity. I don't know if you noticed the trailer that is parked outside the windows here. You can see it if you look through the back of the sanctuary. And you're welcome to not only crane your neck, but get up and walk to the window if you want. Colin Bauer has moved into the church. That trailer is full of cots and blankets and 2 pack-and-plays. It's a trailer that Colin Bauer drove over here this morning for a team to unload in some of our RE rooms this afternoon to host families here at the church for the next 2 weeks. The program is called Away Home. It's part of a county-wide effort to address housing and homelessness and affordable housing all across the county in lots of different ways. And one of those ways was to develop a shelter for children and their families who are unhoused. About 2 years ago, the shelters that we had that served children and their families closed. And there were reasons why they closed, but fundamentally, we did not have emergency shelter for children and families anymore, except in cases of explicit abuse, right? Over the last couple of years, the city and the county and the hospital system, the housing authority, our school social workers across the 7 school districts, and a whole bunch of congregations have teamed up to revive an old program that used to operate here for a couple of decades, providing emergency shelter for children and their families who are unhoused. The way it works is a network of congregations provide shelter and food and accompaniment to a maximum of 4 families at a time. That's the capacity of the program. While a professional social worker interfaces with those children and their families to help them stabilize employment and income, housing, and other things that they may need support in accessing. It's a remarkably effective model. Not perfect, always in need of fine-tuning, and there's a team that meets every Monday at 1:30 to do just that, and they go at each other about how to make it better. But to date, of the 6 families that have participated in the program, 4 have stabilized employment, income, and housing, and have graduated from the program. And 1 is still in the program operating, and the other has needed to move to a different situation. It's a very high rate of effectiveness, although far from perfect. And our congregation has joined in that effort. Like a bunch of fools that we are, we said we would do it for 2 weeks instead of just 1. So even if you don't pray for Colin Bauer for the next 2 weeks, because he's the project leader, and he's got to fill all the volunteer slots. Colin has been very instrumental in forming this over the last 2 years because of his work as a school social worker. And we are very, very lucky to have him in this congregation leading our own implementation of the project as well. And if you'd like to help out, we urge you to do that. We do ask everyone to go through a background check and a child protection training, and if that's not what you need to do, that's fine. There can be lots of reasons that that's not what you need to do. But if it's the one thing that keeps you from volunteering because it's just going to be an inconvenience, I want to urge you to do the training. It takes about an hour. Because what it does is to build our knowledge about how to keep kids safe, not only in congregations, but in lots of settings. It teaches us a lot about ways that kids are vulnerable and how to protect them. One of the values of this program is that it works on a quarterly rotation, so 12 weeks a cycle, about 50 volunteers each week. Every one of those volunteers is required to go through the training, which means that once a quarter, 600 people in our county are required to have gone through this training. And what that does is build a culture of child protection across our county. So don't let that stop you. And I drove this morning to the congregation that has been hosting to help Colin and some other folks, Stan Williams, some other folks, clean up the space the families have been in and load up the trailer to bring it over here. It's people from this congregation and a couple of other congregations that are definitely not a UU congregation. Yes, it deserves a laugh. All going to another congregation that is actually sort of like a UU congregation, but not. A true sister congregation. At a time on Sunday morning when most of us would like to be asleep or drinking coffee, to help people pack up their bags and load up cots and vacuum floors. All those people who are going to go to different things and hear different messages this morning, working together in support of those families. And the network is made up of folks who absolutely don't go to the same place or hear the same message later on Sunday morning, like at all. And they meet to talk about how to do this better. And when something gets wonky with how it's operating, man, they let us know because they want it to work better. And when there's a lull in participation in the program, maybe there are no families in the program for a couple of weeks because we're vetting who's going to enter in. The pressure is, come on, folks, we want to do this. Where are the families? Oh, what would motivate all those people of all those different perspectives, all those different faith commitments and frankly political ideologies, all of those different ways of looking at the world and being the world to work together to serve those families? Why would they do that? It's not a tricky answer. What's the answer? Why do they do that? Yes, that's a nice answer. Love, yes, of course. Right? It's like the children's sermon in another setting where the preacher says, oh, I saw a creature this morning that was gathering nuts and jumping from limb to limb. It had a big bushy tail. What was it? And the kid says, well, I know the answer has to be Jesus, but it sure sounds like a squirrel to me. Yes, of course the answer is love, but why do they do that? Why do they do that? They care? They just care about people, right? And if you were unhoused, would you want somebody to support you? For sure, right? You just care about people. So we want to help people. And man, if we all sat down and talked about why we want to care about people, it could get ugly. But the fact of would be very motivating. And the beautiful thing about this, finding shared purpose, is the way it opens up. The way it can do even more. Because when I pulled up to that other congregation this morning, it wasn't just Colin wheeling in with his truck to pull the trailer, or Stan wielding his most beautiful cane in the whole world. There was another family there. And they weren't in the program, but in the archway of that church, they had found shelter in the night. And they had needed to find shelter because where they were went bad real fast. And this family is made up of two people who love each other very much, and their families don't get that love. They don't understand it. In fact, they were at that sister congregation that's not a UU congregation, but a lot like one. Because the Uplift Center that we're supporting this month with our Share the Plate, is there, and they knew they could go there for haven, for sanctuary. And I pulled up, and these folks are there, and we start talking. And there are all these different people from all these different congregations busy helping out. And nobody was expecting this other family to be there, these two folks. But our purpose was clear. We care about people. And even more than that, everybody there thinks that everybody should have shelter. It's very basic. Human beings should have shelter. And so the energy wasn't, why are you here? Or why are you here together? But what's going on and what's the next step? What would help? In the early hours of this Sunday morning, the resources of multiple congregations, some of which wouldn't participate if we started an ideology, and of our city, with city employees there on site this morning, focused on just caring about people in our community seeking shelter. We're living in very challenging times. I hope that you know from the things that I say, and even more than what I say, the things that I do, that I know these are challenging times. I take them very seriously, and that there are actions that I think should be taken to address them. If you're confused about that, please sit with me. I have many hours with which I would like to share with you. I want you to be clear about where I stand. And a lot of you and other folks out in the world spend a lot of time talking with me and with Ann and with each other about how hard it is to talk to other people, how frankly dangerous it can be in the workplace to share what you think, or at the family dinner table, even in couples. Our ideas, our views have become so divisive, so volatile. While all this was going on this morning, I was getting text message after text message from family members and extended family members and people in this congregation and other folks, all sending me articles from multiple periodicals, many of which do not agree with each other in viewpoint at all, about what will fix America. And the only thing any of those articles agree on is America needs to be fixed. I know that we live in difficult times. This is a place that values ideas, values thinking. We are as susceptible as anybody to getting sucked into the fight, the war of ideas, instead of the sharing of ideas and the thinking together. And I really want to warn us about that war, because it's a trick. There's some people who gain a lot when the rest of us stop being able to talk with each other. And I'm not convinced that they have basic human dignity as their purpose. I'm pretty sure they don't. I don't see a lot of signs of care for much of anybody other than themselves in their actions and their words. So this month we're going to work with this question. How do we think with other people who think differently than we do in times that are so divided? And I think that our UU tradition gives us not just a value of free thought, but a purpose that can guide us. And that purpose is people matter. Basic human dignity is one of our fundamental goals. And when we clarify that purpose, it allows people who are very different from each other and see the world very differently, to the point that they would easily get in fights if they were in the war of ideas, to do really meaningful actions with each other out in the world, and to create a better America. And this focus on purpose, it can help us clarify where ideas stop and human goodness must step in. You know, we can debate immigration and immigration policy for a long time. It's a challenge that faces almost every nation in the world today, and governments rise and fall by it. There are many views on immigration in this congregation, and that is welcome. We want to have a free exchange of ideas. I sat listening to someone who works in one of our public schools, and they were bereft. They said, I've worked with kids whose parents are undocumented for a long time. We've helped them find mattresses. We've helped them find food. The basic understanding of our school system is wherever anybody's from and wherever they're going to go, when they're here, their lives and their families' lives and their communities' lives and everybody who will ever know them in their whole lives are better when they know how to read and write and when they've had something good to eat. And that's what we're going to do. This teacher said, one of the mothers of kids in our school went to work in Spartanburg County. And there was a raid on the workplace. And she got loaded up on a bus from work. No prior notice, no letter, no warning, just scooped up and found herself in a city in another state. And her kids rode the bus home from school that day. 5 kids who went home to no one there. And those 5 kids are just floating from house to house because their mom has been taken away. We can debate policy and ideas, but we know how to treat people. And caring for human beings is our purpose. That's not up for debate.
If you will, turn in the teal hymnal to page 1007. There's a river flowing in my soul.
to extinguish our chalice, the right to exist. From the writer Robert Jones Jr., whose novel The Prophets was named one of the 25 most influential works of post-war queer literature by the New York Times. We can disagree and still love each other unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression and denial of my humanity and right to exist.
When you leave here and go and have lunch with all your friends who went to other congregations and think differently than you do, you can tell them that your pastor said that Jesus is a squirrel in today's service. You're right that love is the answer. And I'm so proud to be in a congregation that will challenge itself to think all the thoughts so that we find clarifying purpose. Love made real. Care for every single person. No conditions. No limits. No bullshit.